This here's from X. It's from someone who claims they worked with Amber at a film festival. Pretty recent, by the way. This is from March 21st, 2024. Now, I gotta say, of course, take it with a grain of salt. This person could have totally made this up. We've got no idea. However, in my opinion, it does sound like things Amber would say and Amber would do. So you can judge for yourself on how real it is, but I gotta throw that out there. So, let's take a listen and you be the judge. This is from Wino Forever. Shout out to Wino. Great post. Well, it's entertaining, that's for sure. Here we go.
Hi, I met real Amber Heard when I was doing an internship through school. My name is Leo Spice, and this is my story. I met Amber when I was assigned to her over the summer during the Taormina Film Festival. At first, it was exciting to be part of the film industry. She told me she was an actress, but I had never heard of her, no pun intended. I worked mostly as her assistant and thought I could learn the business. She told me I would be getting $200 a day, and I thanked her for being so generous.
Alright, starts off pretty normal so far.
She said, "It's okay, it's not my money," which I thought was strange. I had no idea what a nightmare this could be. The first night at Termina, we went to the premiere, although In the Fire wasn't showing. Amber wanted attention, so we got in a car and went to opening night. She was already slurring her words. Back at our hotel, she made me make her a drink called Redhead Slut. She had four of them. She said it's what they called her on the Aquaman set.
That's kind of interesting. I'm not sure why they would, but alright. I mean, I can imagine why they would, but I'm not sure that they would do that, because they would have probably had to pretend to respect her or something.
We followed the cars, but they wouldn't let us through. They stopped us. She pointed at me and said, "It's my assistant's fault. Can you just let us through?" They said no. Amber started yelling at me for not having her credentials ready. We did have credentials, but they were level 1 general admission. She said to them, "Do you know who I am?" She started naming her films: Syrup, Gully, Her Smell. More on that later. And the poor Italian said, "No, we don't." Her sister was in the car and she had these cue cards where she wrote Amber Heard with a Sharpie, but that didn't help. That's when I started to learn how low level she was. She then screamed, "Aquaman!" And their eyes lit up.
Okay, so this is what sounds like Amber to me. So she goes around, people don't know who she is a lot of the time, and she's got to yell, Aquaman! And then they're like, okay, it's, I guess, Mira from Aquaman. I don't know, that just kind of feels real to me.
Nicole Kidman? I almost chuckled. Amber got so pissed, she said, "Fuck you, Luigi," and we drove off. Not over. There were four entrances, and each one was marked with the names of films or VIP. None of those films was us. Then Amby saw a crowd, and she said, "Pull in there." I said, "That's not for us. It's for Indiana Jones." She says, "I don't give a fuck. Pull it in there, or I'll leave you here and you can swim back." I had never been talked to like that. She looked like the fucking exorcist, but with uglier cheekbones.
All right, so once again, this kind of sounds like her crashing some other premiere or whatever to get attention for herself, and he describes cheekbones, which could be true also, but I won't go there.
Amber stepped out of the car, and there was a look of excitement on the fans, but also confusion. They were taking pictures and cheering, but it suddenly stopped. Amber had a huge fake smile, like, "I'm here." Whitney held up her stupid Amber sign, and our Italian co star yelled in Italian, "That's Amber Heard." No one moved. It was so cringe. Then our PR person yelled, "Indiana Jones!" And they cheered. Amber dug her nails into the PR person, Pamela's skin, and she said, "Just go with it." Amber found two indie cosplayers and took pictures with them and just soaked it in. They thought she was an extra. Then, as we walked, you could hear the whispers. People looking her up on their phones, and their faces turned to disgust. I thought they were going to kill us. At that point, I probably wouldn't mind. It was a disaster. But again, not over.
All right, so the guy claims he wouldn't mind if they killed him.
After a fake photo shoot we took with Amber Heard and her co star eating pizza on some stairs, we headed to the opening. Some producer met us and held up Amber as she slowly stumbled to the auditorium. He was handing out $100 bills to anybody as long as they let us through. At the theater, they stopped us again. She says she had a film at the festival. It was on the list, but they said, not tonight. The producer asked if Amber can sit in the front row. They said, no. You can have one seat at the top. Amber told me to go to that seat and start recording. I said, recording what? She said, the fucking stage, dummy.
So, does that sound like something you know who would say, or does it not? Once again, you be the judge.
And if you see me, point it at me. This started to be a pattern of my abuse.
Recognizable word there.
I got to my seat, and it looks like there's an argument. Amber suddenly starts walking to the front row and acts like she's sneaking in with a low profile. But her drunk ass was so obvious and loud that the audience said, shh. I recorded that moment that you may have seen by now. She sat down until another person came and kicked her out. She just smiled and we all walked out. Not over. Back at the hotel, I showed Amber what I recorded and she was so happy. She hugged me and said, this is perfect. She grabbed me by the back of my neck and she started looking at my lips and wanted to kiss me.
Well, this part here, I don't know if I believe this. I guess possibly. It's the most, I don't know, suspicious part, I guess, but I wouldn't totally doubt it.
But she had this constant cold sore and those two monstrous bumps on her face that she called cheekbones. She looked like the movie Mask with Cher. Honestly, she reeked of alcohol and desperation. Plus, her greasy makeup looked like you could make a painting with it. No way I was gonna fuck her. She told me that I can sleep on her bed, and I said, nah, that's cool. We had two beds in this cheap hotel, and the sofa was my bed. She insisted and said, I won't be using it. I thought she was being really nice to me, and she was going to sleep with Whitney. I was so tired from our day and the hectic events. Just then, there was a knock at our door. It was that older man producer. Amber walked out in her robe.
Well, we know she did walk out into Kevin Costner's trailer naked, so maybe.
I just passed out. The next morning, I hear the door open. Amber looked like trash, but very happy. Whit was already up. Amber said proudly, guess who's a new executive producer of In the Fire? Whitney yelled out, you go, girl, and gave her a high five. They both laughed like schoolgirls, and I just pulled the covers over my head. What was I in for? Turned out to be the beginning of my nightmare.
Okay, so that's it. I guess there's part two coming out. I wish I knew who this was. I'd give them a shout out, but I only see it on Wino's post right now on X. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.